Happy Friday and welcome back to Walking with Christ. I wanted to get this Bible reading in before I went out and enjoyed this beautiful summer day that God has given us. Praise God. Let's first do the Lord's Prayer and then we'll get started on Numbers 26 where we left off yesterday. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. All right, we have 2 readings left for Numbers here, so we should be done by the end of the weekend, moving on to something new. Let's get started. A census of the new generation, 26. After the plague, the Lord said to Moses and to Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, take a census of the whole congregation of the Israelites from 20 years old and upwards, by their ancestral houses, everyone in Israel able to go to war. Moses and Eleazar the priest spoke with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan opposite Jericho, saying, take a census of the people from 20 years old and upwards, as the Lord commanded Moses. The Israelites who came out of the land of Egypt were Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, the descendants of Reuben, of Hanok, the clan of Hanokites, of Palu, the clan of the Paluites, of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites, of Carmi, the clan of the Carmites. These are the clans of the Reubenites. The number of these enrolled was 43,730. And the descendants of Palu, Eliab. The descendants of Eliab, Nemuel, Dathan, and Abiram. These are the same Dathan and Abiram chosen from the congregation who rebelled against Moses and Aaron in the company of Korah, when they rebelled against the Lord, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them up along with Korah. Then when that company died, when the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a warning, notwithstanding the sons of Korah did not die. The descendants of Simeon by their clans, of Nemuel, the clan of the Nemuelites, of Jamin, the clan of the Jaminites, of Jakin, the clan of the Jachinites, of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites, of Shaul, the clan of the Shaulites. These are the clans of the Simeonites, 22,200. The children of Gad by their clans, of Zephon, the clan of the Zephonites, of Haggai, the clan of the Haggites, of Shuni, the clan of the Shunites, of Ozni, the clan of the Oznites, of Eri, the clan of the Erites, of Arod, the clan of the Arodites, of Areli, the clan of the Arelites. These are the clans of the Gadites. The number of those enrolled was 40,500. The sons of Judah, Er and Onan. Er and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The descendants of Judah by their clans were, of Shelah, the clan of the Shelanites, of Perez, the clan of the Perizzites, of Zerah, the clan of the Zerahites. The descendants of Perez were, of Hezron, the clan of the Hezronites, of Hamuel, the clan of the Hamulites. These are the clans of Judah. The number of those enrolled was 76,500. The descendants of Issachar by their clans, of Tola, the clan of the Tolaites, of Puvah, the clan of the Punites, of Jashub, the clan of the Jashubites, of Shimron, the clan of the Shimronites. These are the clans of Issachar, 64,300 enrolled. The descendants of Zebulun by their clans, of Sered, the clan of the Seredites, of Elon, the clan of the Elonites, of Jaleel, the clan of the Jaleelites. These are the clans of the Zebulunites. The number of those enrolled was 60,500. The sons of Joseph by their clans, Manasseh and Ephraim. The descendants of Manasseh, of Machir, the clan of the Machirites, and Machir was the father of Gilead. Of Gilead, the clan of the Gileadites. These are the descendants of Gilead. Of Izir, the clan of the Izrites. Of Helek, the clan of the Helekites. And of Israel, the clan of the Israelites. And of Shechem, the clan of the Shechemites. And of Shemida, the clan of the Shemidaites. And of Hepher, the clan of the Hepherites. Now Zelophehad, son of Hepher, had no sons, but daughters. And the names of the daughters of Zelophehad were Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These are the clans of Manasseh. The number of those enrolled was 52,700. These are the descendants of Ephraim, according to their clans, of Shuthelah, the clan of the Shuthelahites, of Becher, the clan of the Beecherites, of Tahan, the clan of the Tahanites. And these are the descendants of Shuthelah, of Iran, the clan of the Iranites. These are the clans of Ephraim. The number of those enrolled was 32,500. These are the descendants of Joseph by their clans. The descendants of Benjamin by their clans, of Bela, the clan of the Belaites, of Ashbel, the clan of the Ashbelites, of Ahiram, the clan of the Ahiramites, of Shephupham, the clan of the Shephuhamites, of Hupham, the clan of the Huphamites. And the sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman, of Ard, the clan of the Ardites, of Naaman, the clan of the Naamites. These are the descendants of Benjamin by their clans. The number of those enrolled was 45,600. Large families they have. These are the descendants of Dan by their clans. Of Shuham, the clan of the Shuhamites. These are the clans of Dan by their clans. All the clans of the Shuhamites, 64,400 enrolled. And I will multiply you upon the earth, thousands upon thousands. The descendants of Naphtali by their clans. Of Jaziel, the clan of the Jazelites. Of Guni, the clan of the Gunites. Of Jazer, the clan of the Jazerites. Of Shillam, the clan of the Shillamites. These are the Naphtalites by their clans. The number of those enrolled was 45,400. This was the number of the Israelites enrolled, 601,740. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, To these the land shall be a portion for inheritance according to the number of names. To a large tribe you shall give a large inheritance, and to a small tribe you shall give a small inheritance. Every tribe shall be given its inheritance according to its enrollment. But the land shall be apportioned by lot. According to the names of their ancestral tribes they shall inherit. Their inheritance shall be apportioned according to lot between the larger and the smaller. This is the enrollment of the Levites by their clans. Of Gershon, the clan of the Gershonites. Of Kohath, the clan of the Kohathites. Of Merari, the clan of the Merarites. These are the clans of Levi. The clan of the Libnites, the clan of the Hebronites, the clan of the Malites, the clan of the Mushites, the clan of the Korahites. Now Kohath was the father of Amram. The name of Amram's wife was Jochebed, daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt, and she bore to Amram, Aaron, Moses, and their sister Miriam. To Aaron were born Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. But Nadab and Abihu died when they offered unholy fire before the Lord. The number of those enrolled was 23,000, every male 1 month old and upwards, for they were not enrolled among the Israelites, because there was no allotment given to them among the Israelites. These were those enrolled by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who enrolled the Israelites in the plans of Moab by the Jordan opposite Jericho. Among these, there was not one of these enrolled by Moses and Aaron and the priest, who had enrolled the Israelites in the wilderness of Sinai. For the Lord had said to them, They shall die in the wilderness. Not one of them was left, except Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and Joshua, son of Nun. The daughters of Zelophehad, 27. Then the daughters of Zelophehad had come forward. Zelophehad was son of Hepher, son of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, son of Joseph, a member of the Manassite clans. The names of his daughters were Mahala, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moses, Eleazar the priest, the leaders, and all the congregation, at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and they said, Our father died in the wilderness. He was not among the company of those who gathered from themselves together against the Lord in the company of Korah, but died for his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be taken away from his clan because he had no son? Give to us a possession among our father's brothers. Moses brought their case before the Lord, and the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad are right in what they are saying. You shall indeed let them possess an inheritance among their father's brothers, and pass the inheritance of their father on to them. You shall also say to the Israelites, If a man dies and has no son, then you shall pass his inheritance on to his daughter. If he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the nearest kinsman of his clan, and he shall possess it. It shall be for the Israelites a statute and ordinance, as the Lord commanded Moses. Joshua appointed Moses' successor. The Lord said to Moses, Go up this mountain of the Abiram range and see the land that I have given to you, to the Israelites. When you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people, as your brother Aaron was, because you rebelled against my word in the wilderness of Zin when the congregation quarreled with me. You did not show my holiness before their eyes at the waters. These are the waters of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. Moses spoke to the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, appoint someone over the congregation who shall go up before them and come in before them, who shall lead them out and bring them in, so that the congregation of the Lord may not be like sheep without a shepherd. So the Lord said to Moses, Take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom is the Spirit and lay your hand upon him. Have him stand before Eleazar the priest and all the congregation, and commission him in their sight. You shall give him some of your authority, so that all the congregation of the Israelites may obey. But he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire for him by the decision of the Urim before the Lord. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall come in, both he and all the Israelites with him, the whole congregation. So Moses did as the Lord commanded. He took Joshua and had him stand before Eleazar the priest and the whole congregation. He laid his hands on him and commissioned him, as the Lord had directed through Moses. This is an interesting chapter. It just goes to show Moses' character. God tells him that he's not going to the promised land, and this is going to be the end for him, and his concern is the people and God anointing someone to watch over them. It's not about his life. (28) Daily offerings. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Command the Israelites and say to them, My offering, the food for my offerings by fire, my pleasing odor, you shall take care to offer to me at its appointed time. And you shall say to them, This is the offering by fire that you shall offer to the Lord. 2 male lambs a year without blemish, daily, as a regular offering. 1 lamb you shall offer in the morning, and the other lamb you shall offer at twilight. Also 1/10 of an ephah of choice flour for a grain offering, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of beaten oil. It is a regular burnt offering, ordained at Mount Sinai, for a pleasing odor, and an offering by fire to the Lord. Its drink offering shall be 1/4 of a hin for each lamb. In the sanctuary you shall pour out a drink offering of strong drink to the Lord. The other lamb you shall offer at twilight, with a grain offering and a drink offering, like the one in the morning. You shall offer it as an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. Sabbath offerings. On the Sabbath day, 2 male lambs a year old without blemish, and 2/10 of an ephah of choice flour for a grain offering, mixed with oil, and its drink offering. This is the burnt offering for every Sabbath, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Monthly offerings. At the beginnings of your months you shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish. Also 3/10 of an ephah of choice flour for a grain offering, mixed with oil for each bull. And 2/10 of choice flour for a grain offering, mixed with oil, one for the 1 ram. And 1/10 of choice flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for every lamb, a burnt offering of pleasing odor, an offering by fire to the Lord. Their drink offering shall be 1/2 a hin of wine for a bull, 1/3 of a hin for a ram, and 1/4 of a hin for a lamb. This is the burnt offering of every month throughout the months of the year. And there shall be 1 male goat for a sin offering to the Lord. It shall be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Offerings at Passover. On the 14th day of the first month there shall be a Passover offering to the Lord. And on the 15th day of this month is the festival. For 7 days shall unleavened bread be eaten. On the first day there shall be a holy convocation. You shall not work your occupations. You shall offer an offering by fire, a burnt offering to the Lord. 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old. See that they are without blemish. Their grain offering shall be of choice flour mixed with oil. 3/10 of an ephah shall you offer for a bull, and 2/10 for a ram. 1/10 shall you offer for each of the 7 lambs. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, to make atonement for you. You shall offer these in addition to the burnt offering of the morning, which belongs to the regular burnt offering. In the same way you shall offer daily for 7 days the food of an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. It shall be offered in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. And on the 7th day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not work at your occupations. Offerings at the Festival of Weeks. On the day of the first fruits, when you offer a grain offering of new grain to the Lord at your Festival of Weeks, you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not work at your occupations. You shall offer a burnt offering, a pleasing odor to the Lord, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old. Their grain offering shall be of choice flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each bull, 2/10 for 1 ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, with 1 male goat to make atonement for you. In addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering, you shall offer them in their drink offering. They shall be without blemish. Offerings at the Festival of the Trumpets. 29. On the first day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not work at your occupations. It is a day for you to blow the trumpets, and you shall offer a burnt offering, a pleasing odor to the Lord. 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish. Their grain offering shall be of choice flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of 1 ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the ram, and 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, with 1 male goat for a sin offering, to make atonement for you. These are in addition to the burnt offerings of the new moon and its grain offering, and the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, and their drink offerings, according to the ordinance for them a pleasing odor, and offering by fire to the Lord. Offerings on the Day of Atonement. On the 10th day of his 7th month you shall have a holy convocation, and deny yourselves. You shall do no work. You shall offer a burnt offering to the Lord, a pleasing odor, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old. They shall be without blemish. Their grain offering shall be of choice flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for the bull, 2/10 for the 1 ram, 1/10 for each of the 7 lambs, with 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering of atonement, and the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, and their drink offerings. Offerings at the Festival of Booths. On the 15th day of the 7th month you shall have a holy convocation. You shall not work at your occupations. You shall celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. You shall offer a burnt offering, an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old. They shall be without blemish. Their grain offering shall be of choice flour mixed with oil, 3/10 of an ephah for each of the 13 bulls, 2/10 for each of the 2 rams, and 1/10 for each of the 14 lambs. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the 2nd day, 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering, and their drink offerings. On the 3rd day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs, a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. On the 4th day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offerings and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the 5th day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offerings and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. On the 6th day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offerings. On the 7th day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old without blemish, with the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bulls, for the rams, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, besides the regular burnt offering, its grain offering, and its drink offering. On the 8th day you shall have a solemn assembly. You shall not work at your occupations. You shall offer a burnt offering, an offering by fire, a pleasing odor to the Lord. 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs a year old without blemish, and the grain offering and the drink offerings for the bull, for the ram, and for the lambs, as prescribed in accordance with their number. Also 1 male goat for a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering and its drink offering. These you shall offer to the Lord at your appointed festivals, in addition to your votive offerings and your free will offerings as your burnt offerings, your grain offerings, your drink offerings, and your offerings of well-being. So Moses told the Israelites everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Vows made by women, 30. Then Moses said to the heads of the tribes of the Israelites, "This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth." I'm going to underline this one right here. I think this is very important. This is what the Lord has commanded. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or swears an oath to bind himself by a pledge, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceeds out of his mouth. I love this verse right here. It means when you make a promise to the Lord, you have to follow through. What good is your word if you don't find the strength to keep going and follow through on your promises and be a man of your word. That's something that I find very important for myself too. When a woman makes a vow to the Lord or binds herself by a pledge while within her father's house in her youth, and her father hears of her vow or her pledge by which she has bound herself and says nothing to her, then all her vows shall stand, and any pledge by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if her father expresses disapproval to her at the time that he hears of it, no vow of hers and no pledge by which she has bound herself shall stand, and the Lord will forgive her, because her father had expressed to her his disapproval. If she marries while obligated by her vows or any thoughtless utterance of her lips by which she has bound herself, and her husband hears of it, and he says nothing to her at the time that he hears, then her vows shall stand, and her pledges by which she has bound herself shall stand. But if at that time that her husband hears of it, he expresses disapproval to her, then he shall nullify the vow by which she was obligated, or the thoughtless utterance of her lips by which she bound herself, and the Lord will forgive her. For every vow of a widow or of a divorced woman by which she has bound herself shall be binding upon her. And if she made a vow in her husband's house, or bound herself by a pledge with an oath, and her husband heard it and said nothing to her, and did not express disapproval to her, then all her vows shall stand, and any pledge by which she bound herself shall stand. But if her husband nullifies them at the time that he hears them, then whatever proceeds out of her lips concerning her vows, or concerning her pledge of herself, shall not stand. Her husband has nullified them, and the Lord will forgive her. Any vow or any binding oath to deny herself, her husband may allow to stand, or her husband may nullify. But if her husband says nothing to her from day to day, then he validates all her vows or all her pledges by which she is obligated. He has validated them because he had said nothing to her at the time that he heard of them. But if he nullifies them sometime after he has heard of them, then he shall bear her guilt. These are the statutes that the Lord commanded Moses concerning a husband and his wife, and a father and his daughter, while she is still young and in her father's house. Let's see if we got time to squeak one more in here. One more page, let's go for it. War against Midian, 31. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Avenge the Israelites on the Midianites. Afterwards you shall be gathered to your people." So Moses said to the people, "Arm some of your number for the war, so that they may go against Midian to execute the Lord's vengeance on Midian. You shall send 1,000 from each of the tribes of Israel to the war." So out of the thousands of Israel, 1,000 from each tribe were conscripted, 12,000 armed for battle. Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 from each tribe, along with Phinehas, son of Eleazar the priest, with the vessels of the sanctuary and the trumpets for sounding the alarm in his hand. They did battle against Midian as the Lord had commanded Moses, and killed every male. They killed the kings of Midian, Evi, Rechem, Zur, and Reba, the 5 kings of Midian, in addition to others who were slain by them. And they also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The Israelites took the women of Midian and their little ones captive, and they took all their cattle, their flocks, and all their goods as booty. All their towns where they had settled, and all their encampments they burned. But they took all the spoil and all the booty, both people and animals. Then they brought the captives and the booty and the spoil to Moses, to Eleazar the priest, and the congregation of the Israelites at the camp on the plains of Moab by the Jordan at Jericho. Returned from the war, Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the congregation went to meet them outside the camp. Moses became angry with the officers of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds who had come from the service in the war. Moses said to them, "Have you allowed all the women to live? These women here, on Balaam's advice, made the Israelites act treacherously against the Lord in the affair of Peor, so that the plague came among the congregation of the Lord. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman who has known a man by sleeping with him. But all the young girls who have not known a man by sleeping with him, keep alive for yourselves. Camp outside the camp for 7 days. Whoever of you has killed any person or touched a corpse, purify yourselves and your captives on the 3rd and on the 7th day. You shall purify every garment, every article of skin, everything made of goat's hair, and every article of wood." Eleazar the priest said to the troops who had gone to battle, "This is the statute of the law that the Lord has commanded Moses. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, and lead, everything that can withstand fire shall be passed through fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall also be purified with the water for purification, and whatever cannot withstand fire shall be passed through the water. You must wash your clothes on the 7th day, and you shall be clean. Afterwards you may come into the camp." Disposition of captives and booty. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "You and Eleazar Eleazar the priest and the heads of the ancestral houses of the congregation make an inventory of the booty captured, both human and animal. Divide the booty into 2 parts, between the warriors who went out to battle and all the congregation. From the share of the warriors who went out to battle, set aside as tribute for the Lord 1 item out of every 500, whether persons, oxen, donkeys, sheep, or goats. Take it from their half and give it to Eleazar the priest as an offering to the Lord. But from the Israelites' half you shall take 1 out of every 50, whether persons, oxen, donkeys, sheep, or goats, all the animals, and give them to the Levites who have charge over the tabernacle of the Lord. Then Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord had commanded Moses. The booty remaining from the spoil that the troops had taken totaled 675,000 sheep, 72,000 oxen, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 persons in all, women who had not known a man by sleeping with him. The half share, the portion of those who had gone out to war, was in number 337,500 sheep and goats, and the Lord's tribute of sheep and goats was 675. The oxen were 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 72. The donkeys were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 61. The persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. Moses gave the tribute, the offering for the Lord, to Eleazar the priest, as the Lord had commanded Moses. As for the Israelites, half which Moses separated from that of the troops, the congregation's half, was 337,500 sheep and goats, 36,000 oxen, 35,100 donkeys, and 16,000 persons. From the Israelites, half Moses took 1 of every 50, both of persons and animals, and gave them to the Levites who had charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then the officers who were over the thousands of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, approached Moses and said to Moses, "Your servants have counted the warriors who are under our command, and not one of us is missing. And we have brought the Lord's offering, what each of us found, articles of gold, armlets and bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and pendants, to make atonement for ourselves before the Lord." Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from them, all in the form of crafted articles, and all the gold of the offering that they offered to the Lord, from the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. The troops had all taken plunder for themselves. So Moses and Eleazar the priest received the gold from the commanders of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting as a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord. Thank you all so much for joining me. We're going to finish up with Numbers next time. We'll be picking up on 32, and it probably won't take us very long. As always, I ask that you take God's love with you as you go. Amen.